I am back today and I've got a different kind of video for you today. I was playing around in this book which I believe translates into Pretty Princesses. Now I got these from AliExpress. I'm not sure if they have them on Amazon or not. I will leave the link of where I got them from below. There are 2 volumes that I've found so far, and each one, this is volume 2, this is volume 1, and each one has around 200 pages in. They are double-sided, and the paper's not like, it's a lightweight paper, but it's a really smooth paper at the same time. So I'll show you the finish that I can get on this kind of paper. But yeah, I wanted to show you today how I colour hair with one black pencil and a blender pencil. Now I always use the Kohinoor Polycolour blender. In my personal opinion, I get on with this one the best. So that's what I'm going to be using. And for the purpose of this video, I also want to try using a higher brand pencil such as Polychromos, a mid-range like Arteza, and also not a lower range but a lower price range with the Black Widows. So firstly, I want to show you the current page that I am working on in here, and that is Snow White, and this is the hair that I've been doing. I started off this side using 3 colours of Polychromos. So I had the black, a mid grey and a light grey, and then the blender for the highlight. And I actually found I preferred this, which was just the black and the blender. So I'm going to zoom you in. I have picked another page because I have finished Snow White's hair. So we are going to try this one. Let's move this book over a bit. So we're going to try blending, colouring some of the hair on this girl. She looks kind of Victorian-esque to me. And then on a separate video, I want to show you how I colour roses. So I thought this page would be good as it would incorporate both tutorials. So with that being said, I'm going to zoom you into her hair and we'll get into the video. So we are going to start off with the Polychromos, which is the higher branded pencil, more expensive. I have sharpened my pencil. I wouldn't say it's a necessity to have a very sharp pencil. I just personally feel I do better with a sharp pencil. You know, there's quite a few people that are adamant, oh, you must have a sharp pencil and you must do lots of flicks and kicks to get a good hair finish, and you don't. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not saying this is how you should colour hair. This is how I colour hair, and I like the result that it gives. So I'm just going to check that I'm in frame. What I want to do is work on this section of hair down here. Okay, so starting off with our Polychromos. I've just spent 2 days colouring hair. I can't believe I'm colouring in more hair. So basically I want our highlight to be sort of starting at the centre here and sort of coming outwards a little bit. So that is usually the first thing that I draw in, is where I want the highlight to be throughout like this ringlet of hair, and we'll take it to here, because once you've done that bit, the rest is plain sailing. You're just straight colouring in black. So you don't want to have a light pressure, you want to have a good medium to heavy pressure, because you want to make sure there's enough pigment on your page to be able to pull the colour into that centre here, because we're not going to colour that, we're just going to use the blender to bring the pigment over. Like I said, this paper is lovely. In fact, it is double-sided and the ink can cross over, so I'm just putting a blotter page behind. So yeah, what we're going to do is literally just colour this whole section in black. I mean, with polychromos you don't need to use a hard pressure to get a good pigment anyway. This is a light to medium pressure I'm using. So we've coloured that half of the hair in. We're then going to come to this side, and with these little strands here, I mean, you could, if you wanted to do the hair left to right instead of up and down, you could leave some of these strands for highlight. But I just find this way that I'm showing you is the best way I've found to do hair. I've tried to leave strands like that before as a highlight, and to me it just looks messy and doesn't work. So, like I say, I'm nowhere near an expert. I'm still learning how to colour hair myself. This is the method I currently use. Okay, so I'm just going to go back over that a little bit. I'm using the same pressure, but because these are a layering pencil, it comes darker anyway. So other things to bear in mind when colouring hair. With this piece of hair that I'm currently colouring, it's not being shadowed by this piece or this piece. So you don't need to worry about doing extra dark on the edges here. But her hat here is shadowing her hair, so it is overlapping her hair. So you will want to think about putting in a shadow up here. And technically coming into the highlight here, because there would be a shadow there. Okay, and so what I'm going to do is just finish colouring the rest of this in with slightly heavier pressure just to make it quicker. I can't say as I've tested this out on wax-based pencils such as Arteza and Black Widow yet, so you'll be learning with me what the result is. I tend to just get drawn to my polychromos for things like skin and hair. Okay, so we've got our piece of hair there all coloured in with our white highlight. The next thing we're going to do is blend with the blender. Now, I do want to sharpen this just a little bit because it's blunt from my last use. But these Koh-i-Noors, the Polycolour blender, if you're in the UK, I buy them from, where do I buy them from? Cult Pens for 82p, I believe. And they have really good customer service as well, because this pencil that I'm currently sharpening was broken, well, is broken all the way down. But I've just sharpened this and this is ready to come out as well. But I contacted them and they did replace both of the blenders I bought. So I'm just going to keep sharpening until I can get a piece of lead that actually does stay in. This is the first problem I've had with these blenders. None of my other ones have broken as much as this. There we go. So that has a point on it. And all we're going to do now is from this side draw the colour in and from this side draw the colour in. But you don't have to do it separate sided, you can literally just colour across the whole thing. So I'm going to try and do this at an angle so you can see. And all I'm doing is using a light pressure. It's as simple as that. So there's our highlight, partially coloured in. Now to make this look more shiny, I then get my black and slightly overlap the highlight with like more not wispy strokes, I don't know how to describe it. Like if I was colouring on a normal piece of paper, it would look like this. See that? So I'm not like colouring it and filling in all the gaps. It's literally just messy colouring. And I feel that gives it a more natural look. And then I do the same this side, so I just want to go back over where this shadow is going to be quickly. Okay. And all I'm doing now is just making the hair a bit darker, so it will give that sort of shiny effect. Whoops. Doesn't matter if you go over like that, you can just rub it out. So it takes a little bit of faffing, but nowhere near if you was doing every single strand of hair in a single stroke. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with that. I'm just going to quickly use my Arteza eraser pencil just to get rid of that little bit where I went over there. I mean, it doesn't matter too much because that part of the hair is going to be black anyway. So yeah, this is using the Polychromos pencil. And those sections where I said that you could leave them as highlights if you wanted to, you could even do slightly darker. So it looks like she's got natural highlights rather than highlighted hair, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go for that look on this side, just pick up those couple of strands that I decided to do darker. And I think we'll leave that at that. Okay. So that is our first ringlet of hair with the poly. Now we're going to move on to the Arteza. I'm going to move the page up slightly. Right, so Arteza is wax based. I haven't tested these out. I'm literally doing this the same time as you. So we're going to do the same kind of basis and keep the highlight in the same place. And I'm going to go to this section of hair here. And draw in our highlight. And again, like straight away I can feel a difference. The pigment is good, but the lead is harder than a poly. I find with wax-based pencils, I have to sharpen them more frequently. I've tried the turning method. Yeah, doesn't work for me. But, you know, I would say with the Arteza, they don't need layering as much as a poly. I mean, that's pretty much already at that colour, and that was a couple of layers. So yeah, just going to fill in some of these white bits. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this piece here. Into the centre. I'm assuming you can do this with other shades of hair colour such as red, or wouldn't say you could really do it with blonde. I think blondes have to have a couple different colours in. Brown maybe. So again, we've got our colour, we've got our highlight strip in the middle. We're just going to take the blender pencil and bring that over like so. Not bad, not bad. Then I'm going to do my little wispy bit into the centre, my little jagged lines. And with this piece of hair, I would say that this is causing a shadow here slightly. So what I'm going to do is just darken it around the edge slightly and remove a tiny section of that highlight at the bottom. And the same for that piece there. Okay, so that is our teaser. If anything, I would say it was darker than the Polly. And then we are going to try the last piece here with the Black Widow. So my Black Widow is actually quite tiny at the moment. Again, the same principle. I'm going to bring down the highlight. The only difference with this section, because it's like the bottom of the ringlet, I always do the centre pure black. On this occasion, it doesn't really matter anyway because the highlight is off centre. But with Snow White, when it comes down to doing the ringlets, I'm not sure whether you can see, but I did this section with the highlight, but then I coloured the centre of the ringlet in pure black, just because there would be shade in there, there wouldn't be any highlight. So back to our tester page, and I'm just going to colour this in black as well. Okay, so something myself and Lynn, the other admin member on my Body Colourist Facebook group, have noticed with Black Widows is they're not great on smooth paper such as Kirby. We find they kind of skate across it a little bit. This is cheap paper, but it has a really smooth coating on it. But they're actually working really nicely. I think it's because it's a cheaper paper. So colour, colour, colour. Colour all in black. Nothing fancy schmancy. Like so. Take our blender, and again just left to right. Bring that colour in, like so. And that's pretty much like already good. I'll do a tiny little bit of wisping, but it doesn't really need it, I don't feel. Okay, and that is our hair tutorial. As easy as that. It looks really shiny. Okay, now obviously when you do other sections of hair, if I do this section up here for example, I've still got the Black Widow, you'll be colouring sort of left to right, but if you want to highlight you can still like put a little bit of one in. So I would put a small thin one in probably there. And then make sure with this piece of hair here that you're casting a shadow, and the same under the hat again. And this piece of hair is actually over the top of the piece that we're currently colouring, so you'll need a shadow there as well. And then I always colour darker at the roots. Hope you can see this okay. I tend to lean over my work a lot, which then causes shadows. Okay. So, like so. Then go ahead and just cover your highlight again. And the only time I feel that you really need to go in to darken it up slightly, this highlight here is darker than this one here. So if you darken the hair around it, it will make the highlight look whiter. So we're just going to go in and darken that up a little bit, either side. Like so. And if you want, you can use your blender pencil just in the centre, and that will lighten it up a little bit. If you feel you've gone too dark, you can always use like a precision eraser to lighten up your highlight, like so. But yeah, that is how I colour black hair with one pencil and a blender. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.